Que and lo que in Spanish both mean what, but sometimes que can mean that without an accent as a conjunction. However, they cannot be used interchangeably because while que is the most used conjunction, lo que has a bit of a different meaning, indicating what in the beginning or middle of a sentence, and I'll get to that in a bit. First, I'd like to discuss the word que. While que can mean what with an accent, without the accent, it means that as a conjunction, meaning that it's expressing a subordinate clause, and similarly, it's used the same way in Spanish. Typically, it's used in long sentences, especially when we use a lot of Spanish ideas at once, and so we can have phrases like, I will use the phone that I bought, with the word that being the conjunction. In Spanish, the sentence will literally and visually be the same. Yo usaré el teléfono que yo compré. As you can see, que is used as that the same way in English. Technically speaking, however, the phrase in English can be said and written without the conjunction. I'll use the phone I bought. But realistically, we always have to include it, especially in Spanish. Saying the sentence without the conjunction signifies an incomplete phrase, and that's why the conjunction is needed. And here are more sentences that incorporate intermediate Spanish concepts with que. How would you say the phrase, he wants the book that is on the shelf? Él quiere el libro que está en el estante. With that and que expressing the subordinate clause, and with the sentence literally following the same pattern as in Spanish. How would you say, the house that you see is big? La casa que tú ves es grande. This sentence was an easy one. Now, how would you say, we went to a restaurant that is expensive? Nosotros fuimos a un restaurante que es caro. How would you say the phrase, they will do the job that they have? Ellos harán el trabajo que ellos tienen. Now, how would you say, I have taken the medicine that the doctor gave me? Yo he tomado la medicina que el doctor me dio. This sentence was a bit difficult because it used the present perfect, the past, a direct object pronoun, and the conjunction que. If you got the sentence right, then you did a good job. And if not, now you can learn how phrases work with the conjunction que. And here's one last sentence that's a bit tricky. How would you say the phrase, I see that that man is standing? Yo veo que ese hombre está caminando. The reason why the sentence is complicated is because in English, we have the word that, which is used twice, but with different meanings. The first that is a conjunction, and the second that is a demonstrative adjective. Even though it's a tricky concept that English students have to deal with, it's pretty normal in Spanish. This idea just shows how English is simple because it repeats one word multiple times, but with different meanings. In other languages, especially in Spanish, you have other words for these cases, but not in English. That's how que, as a conjunction, works in Spanish. Now, we have the words lo que, which mean what, but not in the definite form. Even though many educators give these words different definitions, my explanation of lo que is very simple. Lo que in Spanish is used as what, but not in question form. And most of the time, it's put in the beginning or middle of a sentence. To visually show what I want to say, here's a simple sentence consisting of the word cuando, which means when. Cuando yo era joven, yo tenía un perro. When I was young, I had a dog. In this sentence, I'm using the word when not as a question, but as a conjunction, especially in Spanish when it doesn't have an accent. This sentence can still maintain its meaning even if you switch the phrases, like saying, I had a dog when I was young. Yo tenía un perro cuando yo era joven. Both in English and Spanish, the conjunction when keeps its meaning and doesn't change to a question. With this concept in mind, this is literally and exactly how lo que is used in Spanish, and here are some examples. How would you say the phrase, what I want is a house? Lo que yo quiero es una casa. Now, if you were to switch the phrases and keep the meaning, how would you do so? A house is what I want. Una casa es lo que yo quiero. In both sentences, what is used in the beginning or middle of the sentence the same way lo que is used in Spanish. That's how lo que works in Spanish, and hopefully I'm making this concept as easy as possible. Here are more sentences. How would you say, you don't know what you want? Tú no sabes lo que tú quieres. Now, how would you rephrase the sentence with what in the beginning? What you want, you don't know. Lo que tú quieres, tú no sabes. How would you say the phrase, he has to do what he needs to do? Él tiene que hacer lo que necesita hacer. Now, how would you rephrase it? What he needs to do, he has to do. Lo que necesita hacer, él tiene que hacer. How would you say, what they need is something to eat? Lo que ellos necesitan es algo para comer. And now, how would you rephrase it? Something to eat is what they need. Algo para comer es lo que ellos necesitan. How would you say, I did not see what you gave me? Yo no vi lo que tú me diste. And now, how would you rephrase it? What you gave me, I did not see. Lo que tú me diste, yo no vi. And finally, here's a generic phrase that I've said previously in the video. How would you say to visually show what I want to say? Para visualmente mostrar lo que yo quiero decir. This sentence, unlike others, cannot be rephrased, but it does show how lo que can be used in other sentences too. So that's that. This has been que and lo que in Spanish. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I made your learning just a bit simpler.